You join us live from a soaking wet American Grand Prix, and Alesi has taken pole ahead of Game in the Williams in second place. Gerhard Berger is in third place with his teammate Ayrton Senna just behind him. The four championship protagonists take the first four positions, with Prost in fifth and Nannini with a great result in sixth place ahead of Nigel Mansell, who once again is struggling with his Williams, but Tracy just behind him in 8th place. Schumacher, the Benetton-bound man, is in 9th with his teammate Gasho behind him. Eric Comas is just ahead of Pierluigi Martini in 11th and 12th. Herbert is ahead of the second Minardi of Morbidelli in 13th, and obviously Morbidelli in 14th. Hakkinen 15th, Capelli is in 16th. Gugelman is 17th with Blundell just behind him. Martin Brundle 19th, potentially Benetton bound, and Cafe is 21st, and Alboreto. So Game looking for a strong result here. His championship lead is very healthy, but anything can happen here as we wait for the green. And we're away. We're away. It looks as though it's a poor start for Game in his Williams, but that has been the story of the season. It's a great start from one of the McLarens. I think that's Ayrton Senna. As they barrel towards turn one, you can barely see a thing in the spray. We can see Alesi who's clear of everyone, and that's Senna at the inside, possibly no. And that's two Williams come together, and that's Game, right? And he's hit Nannini. Nannini, after a fantastic qualifying session, is now in the barriers, but I am not sure what happened there. And that's Game there, and he's behind his teammate and very far back. But what has happened? We need to look at a replay of the start there, because it was a calamity. Spray everywhere. And this is on board with Nigel Mansell's ahead. You can barely see a thing in the spray. Are we going to be able to witness anything here? And he dives in. You didn't really see anything from that angle. He just looks like he's been hit, but we don't know. We don't know. This is from a rear shot of Nigel Mansell. Oh, did he drift into Game? Did he drift into his teammate? Did he? We might just see that slow down. We are going to see that slow down. He did kind of drift in, but it looks as though 3 into 1 doesn't go, because Nannini wasn't budging. And this is rear shot of Nannini, and they head in, Game going for a gap. Ooh. It looked as though they were all going for a piece of tarmac and all went for it at the same time. I put it down as a racing incident myself, but that has cost the championship leader massively. With this man out in front, Jean Alesi leads the Grand Prix on lap 1 with Gerhard Berger now. No, it's Ayrton Senna behind him. I apologise. And Prost, I believe, behind him, potentially. Or Berger, one of the two. But Game has got going now. And he is down in 12th place. That is massive if it stays like this. I can't imagine it will stay like this. But... And Alesi finishes the first lap leading this Grand Prix. Senna behind, then it's Berger, then it's Prost, and then it's Riccardo Patrese in the other Benetton. Would have been interesting to see what Nannini could have done today after his fantastic showing in qualifying yesterday. But here is Game in the Williams pushing, but he's lumped. He's lumped a lot of the drivers. I've been mentioning that. Lumped that pothole cover, and it's sent him all out of whack and really lost a bit of momentum on the Ligier ahead of him. But we can't imagine that'd take too long for him to catch and pass the Ligier, who are very excited about their Peugeot engines next season. But he is going to dive up the inside into the final corner, slides the rear out, but that's him up into 11th place. He's got a lot of work to do to score some good champions. That's Alesi in! Alesi coming into the pits. That's a bold move. That is an incredibly bold move with Berger staying out. Berger has stayed out. Berger is Senna in. There's some spray in the pit lane. Which McLaren? It is Senna. Senna's joined him in the pits. Senna has pit. This is... is this a mistake from the Ferrari and the McLaren team? Oh, now that is a surprise. But here we see on board with Alesi, and he's carving his way through. He's got the Leighton House to the left, and you can still just see the Leighton House, and Alesi's dropped it, and he's hit the Leighton House, and he's round. He's round. Alesi has gone from leading the Grand Prix to disaster in half a lap. I still think the pit stop from Senna and Alesi might just turn out to be a big mistake. It's dry, but I think we're on the cusp, and they've come out in so much traffic. Senna's ahead. Senna is ahead of Alesi. Oh, this is an outrageously good first few laps of this American Grand Prix. But now we're looking immediately back at the Williams driver. And he's hit the pothole again. Is that going to allow Mansell through? That is going to allow Mansell through. He's past Mansell somewhere. He's past Mansell. Off camera, he's past Nigel Mansell somewhere. But I guess we won't know where. Either that or Mansell's had a mistake somewhere. But he's repassed. But game pits. This, I mean, he's down. He's far down. This makes more sense than Senna and Alesi pitting. I don't know why they've come into the pits. They're on dries. But the sector time suggests they're not lapping any faster or slower, bear that in mind, than the two leaders of now Prost and Berger, other way round. But they've come out in a lot of traffic. But here is Gerhard Berger. Is he going to come into the pits and copy his teammate? He's not. He stays out. And I'll assume the master, Alain Prost, is going to stay out. He does. And I'm surprised. Get himself into some clear edges. Pit when everyone else does. You're in the lead of the Grand Prix. That could well and truly cost both of them the World Championship. But this is fantastic for Berger. Now, Game on his dry tyres is absolutely flying. And he's got Mika Hakkinen in the Lotus ahead. And he's going to just scoot up the inside. Those potholes are phenomenal around here. But that's him up into 17th. He's got a lot of work to do. But the cars ahead will have to pit as well. So it may look quite bad at face value, but I reckon this will sort itself out over time because he's flying, absolutely flying. But it has allowed Blundell to come immediately round the outside. He struggled there all weekend. It probably cost him pole position yesterday as well. A little error there, but seems like a very long time ago. And he's going to dive straight up the inside of Blundell. Can't imagine Blundell's going to fight that too aggressively. And he's got Morbidelli next, just 2 seconds up the road. But Game is absolutely flying in this Grand Prix. And I think once this is ironed out, I think the issue being for tyre wear as well today is he going to get a run on Morbidelli? I think he's a bit too far back. But issue with tyre wear is, I think when Alesi and Senna pitted, I'm not sure those dries will go to the end. I really don't think the dries will go to the end of the Grand Prix. That could be an issue later on, but maybe they know something we don't. And that's a fantastic exit and a prime place into the hairpin. And he gets the move done way before we get there. And that's Game up into P12 on this Grand Prix. And he has got Thierry Boutsen in the Ligier ahead of him. Ligier have been hyping up their Peugeot deal for next season here, which is odd considering it's America and not France. But I think they're just super excited for that. But that's a fantastic exit. He finally gets the corner right without punching the pothole. There's a massive gaggle of cars in front that are still on the wet tyres. So this will be interesting. And that's Berger in. Berger has decided finally to come into the pit lane. And Prost is joining him down pit lane. And I think they'll come out pretty much. Everyone else, I don't know, they've got quite a big lead, but Patrese leads. Patrese leads this Grand Prix, but Berger and Prost are going to come out in clear air and in second and third, I think. Why didn't Senna and Alesi wait? I don't get it. I do not get it. But there's a huge gaggle of cars as Mansell comes out of the pits. The Game immediately passes him with more momentum as they head towards turn 1. And Gugelmin is taking 6th place ahead of Game. It's going to be a run. This Game is going to be back in the points. And we believe that Game can go to the end on the tyres that he is on. But he pitted after Senna and Alesi, so this could be an interesting end to this Grand Prix. And this is Senna up the inside of the Lotus. And the issue being is the pit crews are out. McLaren, Ferrari are out in the pit lane. And he's currently... they're going to have to pit. They're going to have to come into the pits. And in doing so is probably about to cost them both. Do they both come in? Yeah, Alesi in the pit lane. This is going to cost potential. Well, I think it's going to cost them both a chance at the World Championship with game ahead of them both now. This is a disaster for both of them. I don't really understand what the whole strategy was, but this is game, and Senna's had a bit of a disaster of a pit stop, and Lacey is ahead of him, and he's going to try and... Oh, he's in the wall. Lacey doing his best not to win this World Championship, and it's just been a bad day for the Ferrari driver and McLaren as well, who got them pit stop all wrong, which is why he's behind. Jean Lacey now, and we ride on board now with Senna, who's trying to navigate his way round a small crash. The spray is still there, but it is pretty much dry on the track. I don't think anyone's too right. Everybody's on dry tyres now, and we think Lacey's going to have to pit again. He's damaged a tyre potential puncture. And this is Gerhard Berger now, and he is about to reclaim the lead of the Grand Prix with Patrese in the pit. So Berger leads the Phoenix Grand Prix, and this is fantastic for his championship, considering it was all doom and gloom when he crashed into the pit entrance in Mexico a couple of weeks ago. This will do his championship a world of good. But this game, he's got himself up into 6th place now. He's in the points. He's got Bertrand Gachot ahead of him. We're going to get the classification. And Lacey did pit. Where's he come out? We didn't catch it on camera though. Berger leads, Prost second. Then there is, I think, a bit of a gap then back to Riccardo Patrese, who is still in 3rd place there, confirmation. And then who's in 4th then as they come across the line? It's Johnny Herbert in the Lotus. What a fantastic drive from the young man. Bertrand Gachot 5th, 6th. It's game Mansell 7th. Despite the issues in the turn 1, and he dives at the inside of Bertrand Gachot, 4 P5 in this race. And Senna's dropped down to 8th. Can he? He's still a way back. And Lacey's dropped down now to 10th in this Grand Prix. And I think he's... I don't know. I think that's it for them both. I think that is it for them both. And this is Riccardo Patrese. We haven't seen much of Riccardo Patrese today. It's probably because he's kept himself out of trouble. And he's driven a fantastic Grand Prix here with a few to go. Sure in for a podium position. But it is rumoured that he will not be on the grid for 1992. Planning to retire, rumours suggest. But we may not know that until the pre-season show. And this is game on the back of Johnny Herbert. And he's got a good run here. He should clear the Lotus for P4. And in fairness, considering what happened into turn 1, a fantastic drive from the Williams driver. Really a champion's drive, some might say. With 2 rounds to go after this. It'll be interesting to see what the championship standings look like. Jean Lacey and Senna are absolutely flying now, as it just both put up pretty much the similar fastest laps of this Grand Prix, but it's too late. And this is Nigel Mansell with a chance of a point. Williams have been fantastic here today, apart from turn 1, and he dives up the inside. Mansell will need... Mansell. Whenever Mansell does anything good, he follows it up with something like that. That's shocking for the Brit. He's going to need to be a lot better with Senna as his teammate next year. But the carnage has going to come to an end. Disappointment in Mexico a couple of weeks ago, but elation right now here in the land of the free. And Gerhard Berger is going to round the final corner. He's going to take all 10 points here, and he has propelled himself back into the championship fight, wins the Grand Prix. Prost with a relatively quiet one comes home in 2nd place. Fan dabby dozy, but it's Pierre. Patrese, I forgot his name, rides home in 3rd place to take a well-deserved podium and game some way back now. Although was catching at around 2 seconds a lap, but ran out of laps. Game is going to come home in a 4th place that's done him a world of good, considering he was in the back of Nannini into turn 1. But here, it's Johnny Herbert and Bertrand Gachot. We're going to take P5 and P6. And as you can see in the background, Senna has closed the gap. But it wasn't enough and Jean Alesi's going to come home in 8th place, and it's been a disaster for the pair of them. What is the championship table going to look like after this? But it's Gerhard Berger propelling himself back into the championship fight with a win here. Fantastic drive. Super from Gerhard Berger. And there we have it, Gerhard Berger winning with a 91 mile an hour speed average with Alain Prost and Patrese just behind. Game taking a fantastic 4th place. Johnny Herbert and Gasho in 5th and 6th. But has Senna and has Alesi cost themselves a chance at the World Championship? I think they might have done. We're going to quickly look at the standings right now. And it's Game taking 68 points, a 10-point lead. He can win the World Championship in Japan, the next Grand Prix. If he outscores Gerhard Berger by a single point, he will be World Champion of 1991. But Alesi and Senna, they're as good as out. They are as good as out. They're going to need Game to retire in probably the next 2, the final 2, if they want to have anything to do with this. But yes, as I just suggested, it looks as though it's Game versus Berger, but Game can be World Champion in Japan. And well, let's see. You've joined us. Like, subscribe, and join us next time for the Japanese Grand Prix.